Hello and welcome back to Absolute BSS, the casual-petitive look at Bandai Namco's Battle Spirits Saga card game. I'm one of your hosts, Cameron, and this is my buddy Eric. Eric, how you doing?
What's up, everybody?
And we're back. First episode in a couple of
Angel
weeks.
stuck in traffic.
Yes, Angel is stuck in traffic. Otherwise, he would be here. He says hello. So me and Eric are just gonna have a little quickie with each other today and with all of you, and answer some listener questions, talk about some exciting stuff coming up, and yeah, just we wanted to put an episode out because we didn't last week, just for a little bit of lack of news, but things are about to start picking up again. People are getting their set 4 cards. People are posting their polls in our Discord. I was supposed to get I got 3 boxes, supposed to get them today, but that got delayed till tomorrow. So that just means when you're hearing this, you might be seeing an unboxing video same day over on Absolute BSS Pod on YouTube.
Are you gonna stream that, or are you just gonna record it?
I'll stream it. I figure I'll stream it. Just stream it to our YouTube.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna stream. I have some boxes showing up too, so I'll be streaming that as well. So
streamer luck is a thing, man.
Well, okay, I did get 2 boxes already, and I opened them. I was gonna stream it, but I was just way too tired to stream it. But also, I couldn't just like leave boxes unopened on my desk because I'm not Angel. I'm not a madman. Mm-hmm. I have no self-control, so I opened them and I didn't pull. I pulled some interesting stuff. I got 1 era, and I got a signature Warden Gargoyle that was pretty sweet.
That is pretty
sweet. I pulled 0 Hydras out of 2 boxes. Like,
that is unfortunate.
Not even a regular X-Rare Hydra.
Yeah.
I was thinking like, okay, chances of me getting an Ava Hydra very low, SPR Hydra very low, but like I should at least get like an XR.
Right.
But nope, no Hydras yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm hoping to hit Hydra, but if I don't, I'm hoping to see Mach Genbu. Had a lot of fun with Yellow, especially in Battle Shot Saga a couple weeks ago. If you haven't, if you weren't a part of that, there's a VOD of the whole thing, but then there's also a highlight clip that Eric put together of that. That was super fun. Big shout outs to Skylights and Andrew for joining us there. But other than that, Eric, before we get into everything, what have you been up to?
Well, I'm almost done with Persona 3. I've been talking about it for months now, I feel like, but
that's awesome.
Maybe not even that long. I don't think it's been out that long, but it feels like forever. Yeah, I think I was texting you last night about this. Like, I was trying to do all the stuff, and I was like, you know what? I think I just kind of want to be done.
Yeah.
Like, not that I'm not enjoying it, but I'm also at a point with it where I'm getting a little burnt out, and I kind of just want to finish it and see how the story ends. So
yeah,
pretty excited to finish it though. It's man, it really makes you think about stuff, the story, quite a bit.
I definitely went through a couple of days of existential crises. And my thing with that was, that came out at the beginning of February, right? Mm-hmm. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth just came out at the end of February. So I was racing to finish Persona 3 because I really wanted to play it. And then I got guilty, and I was like, I really need to finish Final Fantasy 16 before I start another Final Fantasy. And 16 is great, and I'm really glad that I finished it. There have just been so many good video games out lately that I had to take a step back from 16. I went back into it. Like, I probably was like right at the end of Act 2 when I stopped. So it was just the back half of it, like the final few missions and side quests and stuff like that. And DLC came out for it, so I had to loop that in there too. But beat Final Fantasy 16 the day that Rebirth came out, and I've started Rebirth very, very slowly. I'm going to actually try to savor a JRPG because I blew through Persona 3 Reload.
Yeah, I've been fast forwarding through some of the social links that aren't super interesting to me. Like, if it's like Yukari or Mitsuru, I'll watch what happens. But if it's like the random monk at the bar or whatever, I'm just like, okay, I don't really care.
I literally fast forwarded through every single interaction with the TV salesman, the Devil Arcana.
Same, yeah.
I have no idea what that fucker was trying to tell me, and I just said yes and to everything he asked me, and he seemed to love it. I leveled up that social link so quickly, and I have no idea how. Because it just did not matter, because it's like I was in November and I was like, I've got like 2 months left. I gotta buckle down.
Yeah. Also, that game doesn't really give you much to do in the last like few months other than just like fast forward through all your social links. And then like at nighttime, there's like nothing to do except like take Koromaru on a walk or something.
Right. Which did get me some good end game items. Glad about that. But yeah.
Well, not to make this the Persona 3 podcast, but I am enjoying it though. But yeah, it's never mind. I'll just move on. We'll move on to whatever's next for us here. Because I am about to turn this into the Persona 3 podcast.
Definitely though, we should continue that conversation. Maybe in a different format or something like that.
Somewhere else. Yeah.
I would love to really dive into that, because Final Fantasy 16 had some similar themes in the story towards the end of it, about like life and death and what's the point. And so just back to back those games, I was like, man,
existential crisis after another.
I had to play Paper Mario on the N64 at the same time I was finishing Final Fantasy 16. I needed something cozier to wind down my day with, because that's where I usually get my big groups of gaming hours in, and I was like, I can't do Final Fantasy 16 at night right now. So
speaking of games, I don't know exactly what I want to say about this, but I just felt like it'd be wrong to not say anything. I just found out about Rooster Teeth.
So
I don't know if anybody listening to this is a big fan of Rooster Teeth. I don't even know all the details really. It was very vague, but it sounds like Rooster Teeth is disbanding, or something is happening thanks to Warner Bros. Deciding that they're not profitable enough or something like that. And I don't really know all the details, so I can't really speak on it, but it sounds like some of the podcasts are going to continue, but a lot of the other content is not. So honestly, like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, when I read it, I did tear up, because Rooster Teeth has been around since I was a little kid. And like, I remember like sitting in my parents' like computer room and watching their like Minecraft Let's Plays and stuff. And like, I remember like playing Minecraft on my Xbox 360 with my friend, trying to make like a Tower of Pimps or something, like, because of their content. And like the Achievement Hunter stuff specifically, I think was some of my favorites. And of course, you know, like Red versus Blue and all of their other content too. And it just really sucks, because I feel like they had kind of entered a new era where I was really enjoying. Like, it felt like some of their old content did get a little stale, and then they refreshed it, and it like felt really new and interesting. And it's just really disappointing to find out that. If it's disappointing for me, I can only imagine what it's like for the people making those things. Especially, I do want to say, like, you know, Rooster Teeth is honestly a huge inspiration for what we're doing right now.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. Anything you want to say about Rooster Teeth?
Just that, you know, to that point, like behind the scenes, Eric and I talk a lot about like what we, and Angel, we all talk about like what we want to see come out of this, where we want it to go, and why, and like what are some of those inspirations. And I reference Team Covenant a lot too, but you know, Rooster Teeth always popped up. Obviously, we're not trying to be Rooster Teeth, and we would never think that we're anywhere close, but like,
I'm no Barbara Dunkelman, okay? Right. As much as I try.
As much as I wish Eric was Barbara Dunkelman. No, but like,
as much as I wish Cam was Gavin and he had a cool British accent, it just isn't going to happen.
I think my biggest thing is that Rooster Teeth was, it just holds a lot of memories because they've been around for 21 years. They just really inspired me to want to be in a creative space online. And I feel like for me, especially, I don't know about you, I don't want to speak for you, but like Rooster Teeth was that first kind of like, oh, this is a parasocial kind of relationship. Like, these are people that I kind of feel like I know in a weird way. Like, I I'm not as delusional as some people, but like it's really heartbreaking today to hear that news, because like all of these content creators that you've watched grow up while you grew up and splinter off and do all of these amazing things, like it's a double-edged sword, right? Rooster Teeth gets picked up by Warner Brothers. They start to branch out and make a ton of different, really unique content in all these different fields. And now all of that is just going away. That really, really sucks.
I was really getting interested in their Tales from the Stinky Dragon content. I thought that was really neat.
D&D podcast. One of my favorite channels that I still watch today is Funhouse, and that was, splintered off of that Rooster Teeth company umbrella. It's just, it's sad. It's a bummer, and I'm just hopeful that everyone involved in that company can land on their feet in a way that will be good for them moving forward. I think they all have incredible skills and incredible talent in the industry, and I know that they'll be okay, but it's not okay right now, and there are a lot of fans affected by it as well. And it's unfortunate to see something that you feel kind of like you have personal stock in get mishandled and mistreated by a bigger company like Warner Brothers. It feels kind of like the Keyforge hiatus news to me all over again. But
it's decisions being made for reasons that have nothing to do with why the company began in the first place.
Yeah, like Warner Brothers does not understand YouTube statistics or podcast statistics or content or anything. Like, they gave them a big budget. It's YouTube fans, and they go, "Oh, why isn't this making as much?" Like you said in a group text earlier, you're like, "Oh, this doesn't make as much money as Batman. Let's kill it." And that's kind of the thing. It's disappointing.
I don't know what the exact conversations are that led to this decision, but that's what I imagine it to be, is people completely disconnected from the actual franchise and what they're doing and who their fan base is. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of Rooster Teeth fans, a lot of the money comes from like probably ad revenue on YouTube, and then just like silly out of the box, like weird merch.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's where most of their revenue probably comes from, because that's kind of how I've known them for so many years. And they're kind of on the same, I discovered them at the same time as Mega 64. I don't know if you ever watched their stuff, but I kind of saw them as like two very similar entities, to the point where like Eric Bador from Mega 64 even started, like showing up in their content and then became like a member of their team.
There's a big Venn diagram between those two companies for sure.
Yeah. But very sad. I'm interested to see, like you said, what happens next with those people. I would hate to see them stop making stuff entirely. I would imagine they're going to stop for a little bit, and then maybe some of them are going to start their own creative projects. Like, I can't imagine. I mean, Gavin has like the slow-mo guys, so he might just go all in on that.
Right.
But I can't imagine, like, there's so many episodes of, like the Rooster Teeth podcast or the new Anma podcast where like Jeff and Gus talk about like, if Rooster Teeth wasn't a thing, I don't know what I would do. So now I'm sure that they are probably like, what the fuck do we do? Yeah. So, but I'm sure they'll do something.
Yeah. But basically, yeah. Just if anybody who listens is a fan of Rooster Teeth and, has heard the news, like, I'm sorry for you too, to any fans, because I feel like people who listen to this probably have at least heard of Rooster Teeth at some point.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that Venn diagram earlier. It's like there's probably an absolute BSS Rooster Teeth Venn diagram.
Yeah, honestly, there's got.
It's all. We were just looking at our stats, and it's all like 25 to 34-year-old American men. So it's like people like us.
Yep. But yeah, sorry. Yeah, we kind of went down a dark path there with some doom and gloom, but we're gonna rally and answer some listener questions from our Discord.
Yeah. So, well, really, first you want to talk about the new tournament?
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's actually do that. Yeah. And while we're at it, before I pull this up, if you would like to, if you're watching on YouTube, like the video if you don't mind. It doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help us out. If you don't, that's fine.
Subscribing does actually cost your firstborn child. I know that you didn't read that part of the contract, but it's in there. So.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
My boy. But yeah, there is a cool Battle Spirit Saga Tensei community online tournament coming up to one, just, celebrate the game and some set 4 shenanigans. But 2, to, just get everybody ready for this online format, which is Swiss 35-minute rounds, best of 1. Those are what the webcam tournaments are going to be like in May. So it's, like a little glimpse at that, but there's going to be some really fun prizes. Eric? I guess I have it all up here. But yeah, go for it.
Yeah, March 23rd at noon Eastern time is when the tournament is going to kick off. But we'll be live streaming the event, so I highly recommend participating.
Yeah.
But if you cannot participate, then or don't want to, but you still want to watch some of the matches or just get in on the fun, definitely join our channel here on the day. We'll be streaming, talking about the games, having a lot of fun. Mainly, if you watched our Indiana BSS tournament, it's going to be more of that. Just, we're going to have a cool overlay with, life cores and, keeping track of what's going on in the games, but also hopefully just having a lot of silly fun the entire time as well. So that's definitely what we're trying to do. Yeah, there's some cool play mats. We're also going to be raffling off a mat during the live stream, like a custom community mat. More details to come on how that's going to work exactly. I've never done anything I've never given away something on a live stream before, but we'll figure it out. So
the mats are awesome. I just got to tell you now, I'm not going to spoil them completely, but they have they've been okayed by Bandai is what I'm saying. They're very cool looking.
Yeah, they look sick. Yeah. Some Evangelion art on there. It looks pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It looks awesome.
There are 23 people signed up right now, which is great. That's awesome. So I think, 6 rounds, 35-minute rounds, 5-minute overtime, best of 1. And it's going to be a good time. So again, March 23rd, 12 p.m. Eastern. And yes, BSS boys will be live streaming it. So come hang out. It'll be a really good time.
Yeah. If you want more details, join the Discord. It'll be down in the link, a link down in the description. You can join the Absolute BSS Discord. This is also hosted by the Tensei Discord, so I'm sure there's lots of details in their Discord as well.
Yep.
Maybe we could link to that, or at the very least, we'll link to the website where you can sign up for the event.
Yeah, the challenge link.
Yeah. So it's going to be a ton of fun. I love these community events, honestly. I think anytime, if anybody out there listening to this right now is running a community event and you want somebody to cast it, I think Absolute BSS is definitely open to it. If we have to travel for it, we might have to have a discussion about how that's going to work, because if it's super far, we might not be able to make it. We might have to do it remotely or something. But I think we're definitely interested in supporting those types of events, just because I think it's awesome. Yeah. When the community gets together and does something.
Have a lot of fun with that recently. So looking forward to doing some more of that this year.
Hell yeah.
And speaking of the Discord, y'all should absolutely join, because like I said earlier, we're showing our polls. We're putting some deck lists together, trying to figure out how to kill Hydra. And you can also submit some listener questions like we have for today's episode. And you can directly get in on the conversation during the show and outside of the show. So join the Absolute BSS Discord. A lot of fun stuff coming up this year.
Hell yeah. All right, should we get into the listener questions then?
Let's do it.
All right. So the way this is going to work, if you're new to the Discord, if you're joining because of this video, just so you know in the future, occasionally I'll go into the listener questions channel in our Discord and just be like, hey, give me some questions. We need stuff to talk about on the show. And everyone always delivers. I always appreciate it. And they always come up with really interesting, fun questions.
Truly.
But that channel is open all the time. So if you're ever just in the Discord and you think of I wonder what Eric and Angel and Cam think about this, just feel free to post it in there. But
sure.
We'll start things off with a question from our good friend, Andrew.
Shout out to Andrew.
He says... Andrew's a cool dude.
Top 16 in the world. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Top 16 in the world, number 1 in my heart.
That's so right.
Yeah. Don't tell my mom. She's listening to this. She's gonna know.
I'm number 1 in your mom's heart, so it works out.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. You over her own son. She. All right. Andrew says, opening set 4 product. What are your thoughts on product distribution, mainly lack of product and dash packs? So, what are your thoughts on product distribution and the dash pack situation, Kim? I know you haven't gotten your stuff yet,
right?
So...
But I mean, that's kind of something. It's so hard to say, man. You know, we're in the second year of this game's life. We've talked to retailers about Bandai, and even just like if you're at a store that you don't normally go to and you're buying Bandai products, usually someone behind the counter will go, yeah, you better grab it because we don't know if we're getting more. We don't know when. Like, yeah. And it's just like, just unprompted. Like, I picked up a Dragon Ball starter deck, and the guy's like, do you want just one of each? Are you sure you don't want to buy one of each? Because those are all that's left. So like, it's happening across other games. I don't know, man. It's tough. It's definitely tough. But I think it is just a part of hobby gaming, which is pretty defeatist of me to say, but I don't think it just affects Battle Spirits by any means, and so I don't think it's cause for like doomsday in that regard, but it is a bummer. And
I'm gonna have a contrarian take here, maybe.
Okay, go for it.
I think that one of the best things that can happen for your game is for the from a like a survivability standpoint, and also from a collectability standpoint, is for product to be a little difficult to get. Sure. I don't think it should be totally unavailable, because
there's a fine line for that demand.
Exactly. It's all business. It's supply and demand. I think that if the supply was like way too high and it was like you couldn't give these things away, like, I don't know, like if I went into a store and they were like, here's a box of Battle Spirits for $25, which does happen with some of the older sets.
Yeah.
Like my immediate reaction is like, well, why is this $25 when a box of Yu-Gi-Oh is 120 or something, you know? Like, what's going on with this game? So I like to see the higher prices on the boxes just because I love this game and I want it to survive and I want it to maintain people's interest. Mm-hmm. And some of that interest is going to be selling stuff on the secondary market, which kind of sucks for the players because, you know, I love getting cheap cards. But I'll also say this, maybe I order my product a little differently than other people do. One, we don't really have a great local spot for me to go pick up stuff anymore, so I tend to just order boxes off of TCG Player. But I haven't had a single box that I've ordered of Battle Spirits set 4. I haven't had anybody like email me and say, hey, actually, we don't have enough product. I have had that happen with my box of Fusion World.
Yeah.
Which I didn't. Now all I have for Fusion World is the starter decks. I can't get any booster boxes. I mean, I can probably order one now, but it's just they're so expensive.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a different conversation. But
it's a different problem, you know.
Yeah, it's a very different problem. I think right now, we saw the price of set 4 boxes dip to $65, but they're back up to like 72, 73. Now the dash packs. I don't actually know how the dash packs are supposed to be distributed. Are you supposed to get one with every box?
I would assume that typically in the past from Bandai product that I've had, there's like a dash, just the one dash pack in the box. But I ran into that problem with the Game Grumps collabs. I was really unclear as to how to get those. And there was not a lot of information for it online. So I am kind of, you know, a little worried about that with these EVA collab stuff and the EVA dash packs.
Well, so the person that you ordered your boxes from on TCG Player is the same person that I ordered my boxes from. And the last time I ordered boxes from him, he gave me the Games Grumps cards.
Yeah. And that's why I ordered from him, just because you had such a good experience with him. Like, I trusted him, and he didn't gouge me at all.
Yeah.
And those should still be here at some point.
So maybe if we find out that person sends those packs, I don't know, maybe we might want to keep that a little secret. but
oops.
oops. But we'll find out. I think it's honestly, I think the sellers of the boxes should be including a pack with each box if they have it.
And if that's advertised, they should.
If it's advertised, yeah. I think part of the problem is some of these people aren't even getting the dash packs.
That's what I'm assuming is going on. It's probably a distribution drop the ball from Bandai. And that's, sometimes those things just happen. Like, if anybody out there listening has ever backed anything on Kickstarter related to like tabletop gaming, one, you're waiting a long time. Two, you get those email updates like almost every day where they're like, hey, we ran into another snag. Like, it is hard to distribute that much product and that much of these like, specific extra products and stuff like that. I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying it's probably just an error. And again, not like, it's not bringing around the apocalypse. I just think it was just a hiccup, which Bandai does have some hiccups. Like, Cosmic put out a 30-minute video about this digital launch for Dragon Ball. I was also in the V1.02 Death's lobby waiting room for a long time on launch day, but it's the way that Bandai has handled these things, these criticisms, that makes me feel like it's all going to be okay. I do believe that.
Yeah.
That's how you learn.
Yeah. I guess that's the thing, right? Is like, at the end of the day, I really I want them to succeed. So it's like, I want to criticize things when they need criticism, but I also want to be, I guess, I don't know, understanding or forgiving of some things that might be outside of their control, or maybe things that, I don't know. I don't want to be harsh unless me being harsh is productive in some way.
Right. But you don't want to be taken advantage of. You don't want your time or your money wasted. You don't want to be completely taken advantage of. It's
honestly, like the dash packs, I really want them. Like, I think it'd be cool to have like Ava alt arts of really popular cards. But at the same time, like, I like Evangelion, but I'm not like a super fan or anything. So I'm just kind of like, if I don't get the Evangelion like exhaust nexus or whatever, like, I'm fine without it. I don't need it. But I kind of want
I'm going to send death threats to everyone at Bandai.
Oh my God.
Big joke. Big
joke. He's joking.
I'm joking. I would never do that, and I'm not condoning it. Sometimes I forget that we have a little bit of influence.
Sometimes Cam forgets that we record these conversations.
Yeah. I really did. That one just came right out. I was like, I know it's a joke, but not everybody else does.
Nobody do that, please.
Nobody do that. I'm not either. I am a brand risk.
Time and time again, Cam is a brand risk. He's not even drinking tequila this time.
No, I'm sober as a bird right now, my guy. This is just a bowl of vodka.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else really to say about the product. I guess in summary, I have not personally had any issues with Set 4 product.
Right.
So,
and I'm sorry to those of you who have. I'm sure there are ways you can reach out and get compensated for that from Bandai. And that's fair.
I think some people who ordered cases, I think we're having trouble getting full cases, but maybe I think you and I don't really order that many cards. Like, my strategy is usually I order a few boxes and then I just pick up the rest of the singles.
I've been doing 3 for each set and then filling out the rest of my collection, and that's done all right. Yeah.
It might be difficult this time though with the Hydras, gonna be honest.
I know. I might be dipping into a 4th or 5th or 6th month. My birthday is in like a week and a half, so if anybody wants to be a sugar daddy or mommy and send me some cards. Once again, we're recording this. Okay.
Come over.
Yeah. Owen, come over. You don't have to send me anything.
Just your presence is our present.
Yeah, just come over.
Or Cam's present, actually. It's his birthday.
Come on.
Speaking of Hydra,
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on potential ban/limited list update?
Yeah.
This is a question from Brennan.
Yeah. Um, this comes every time, new cards come out. The first thing you jump to, and we're guilty of it too. When Gale came out and Feng Wang, we're all just like, oh my gosh, you got to limit Hurricane Highlands to 1. You got to maybe limit Feng Wang. And I understand Hydra might be a different case because of that double symbol and just it is insane. Turbo Hydra, we've seen it. Andrew did it. Strider did it. Turn 3, it comes out. It's very, very powerful. Personally, I think the problem would be if you ban Hydra or limit Hydra, I feel like that opens the conversation of limiting all of the big Ascend creatures, right? All of the double symbol creatures, which wouldn't be bad, but it also just immediately... It does 2 things. It bends to the will of the player base too hard, and it also would admit bad mechanical balancing, even if it's subconscious, and then everyone is now looking for, in set 5, what's busted, in the Evangelion thing, what's busted. And I don't think I think there are ways around it. And I also like that part of card games specifically when something new does come out and you're like, how did they print this? But then like what card gamers do is they find workarounds and they find something else more busted. Like what comes to mind is Shield Dread, the Apocalypse in Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
In the Phyrexian set that came out a few sets ago. It's 2 mana, 2 black, 4/5 power creature with Death Touch. Every time your opponent draws a card, they lose 2 health. Every time you draw a card, you gain 2 health. It's fucking stupid. That card is amazing. And it combos into a lot of decks. If you see your opponent play Swamp turn 1, Shield Dread is in their deck. And that never went away, but it settled. The dust settled on Shield Dread. At least I think so. I'm a very casual Magic player, but that's the first thing that came to mind.
It's like you just said, when you see a Swamp across the table, you know that card is likely in their deck.
Yep.
And so you just, when they have 4 mana, that could come down. And so maybe you hold back like one of your destruction spells or something to take care of it when it hits the table.
Yep.
Or maybe you hold back your counter spell or whatever.
Yep. And you put stuff in the side deck. I know that the online tournaments specifically are going to be best of 1. We're probably going to see a lot of aggro decks for tournaments like that to, just do your rounds really quick, get the cool prizes. But also, again, like you're saying, if you're going to expect it and if it's in the game, you just have to play around it, make them have it, or know your outs. And I think there are outs. I really do.
Yeah. To be clear, also, Brennan's question was not specifically on Hydra. I didn't mean to lead the witness there.
Yeah.
But I do think you can't have a discussion about a ban/limited list update and not talk about Hydra, because I think it's the card that's on top of everybody's minds right now.
Yeah. And in our Discord specifically, we also have been talking about Sathagua, the
Millfrog. Yeah.
And I don't know if I would ban that. It is a promo rare like Axe Spider was, though. And then that's another conversation too. It's like, what's the point of even printing these really powerful promotional cards for a few reasons, right? Like, they're harder to get, they're really, really strong, and then if they get banned, like, people are going to feel bad if they went to the secondary market and spent a good amount of money on a playset only to be able to shove them in a folder and never actually get to use them outside of casual play.
Yeah. I do think those are kind of a little bit of a double-edged sword, because I think if those are given out appropriately at the events that they're intended to be given out at, I think it supports local play, which is a very, very good thing. But instead, what I've seen is that they get released and then immediately they don't get used for tournaments, and they do just end up on the secondary market. Like, I even at like a shop level, I don't like how quickly those hit the secondary market. There's no way that it's players winning them and then selling them. It has to be like stores just opening the packs and selling the cards.
Yeah, because they know it's good or sought after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
and
still don't own a single axe spider.
You don't need to.
Right. I don't need to now. I'm a little worried about getting Sathagua, and I love blue. I love aberrations. For me, it would be fine because I'm cool with just collecting it. But I mean, that's a real problem for competitive players. Again, you know, you want your time and your money to be respected. So if they bring out this banger of a card, everybody complains about it. You spent money to get it, and you're ready to run it, and then Bandai goes, "Oh yeah, you can only really run one or none at all." That does feel bad.
Yeah. Well, with all that being said, I do think if we're talking about like the blue deck, I think it needs its time in the sun.
Yeah.
I think it's too soon to really put a damper on anything that blue is doing right now. I think it's been on the back burner for so long. Like, let's let it be the powerhouse that it is.
That's healthy.
And then let's see, like you said, let's see how players deal with that.
Yep.
Like, is it actually a problem? Is it just that everyone is playing it, so it seems like it's super dominant, but really it's just like a percentage of the field is just blue Hydra, so it's just very dominant.
Until it's, you know, top 8ing, all 8 players or 7 players are playing blue and running similar lists, and then the top 4 cuts to 4 of the same deck, and then the top 2 is 2 of the same deck, and then the winner is high rolling and nobody can figure out a counter to it, then you look at it. But unfortunately you can't. The problem is, you know, that takes time, and competitive players want to win, obviously, so they're all flocking to what they think is the best deck, and that does take time for other people who are against the meta for any reason or just understand the game at a deeper level than other people. We see some kind of crazy list to counter it. Like, that's what happened with Smag. Like, you know, all the other decks were dominating, and there were a few players out there who just got together and were like, hey, what about a rainbow deck? What about a Smag pile? And what would that look like? What's the best tech cards there? And that was an answer for a lot of things. And then we started building decks to counter that. And now Set 4 is out. So I just think it's the rotating meta thing. It's still very early in the game. And like you said, blue just came out in Set 3. It wasn't that good. Let it have a chance. And if you're worried about the Hydra meta, build an anti-Hydra deck. Just work it out.
Figure out how you want to deal with it. You either need to be faster than it, or you need to I mean, something to consider is that in order for Hydra to really be efficient, it needs like spirits to pop when it swings. So maybe there's some sort of weird build that we're just not thinking of, where you go really spirit light and you, I don't know, do something with like 1 spirit at a time, or like you're doing, or like maybe 2 spirits at a time, or maybe some sort of reanimate deck where all of your spirits are in your trash and that's where you want them to be.
Yeah.
So you're like, you know, I'm getting milled or whatever. I don't care. You're putting fodder for me in the trash that I'm just going to, you know, bring back.
And we've referenced it before, but Dream Blizzard is a really good sideboard card right now, because if you are going against blue, the first thing that comes to my mind, besides Hydra, is Nexuses. So, you know, if you're running red, you have some Nexus removal. If you're running white, you have some Nexus bouncing. And so I just think, yeah, Hydra can go so crazy fast, but if it runs out of gas, if it gets turned off, it's done. So I think control decks and more mid-rangey decks are going to rise up to play against that kind of aggro. And then we start to see aggro fall away a little bit, and the time to kill moves up a little bit, and some new decks come out that are, you know, interesting. And then we're about to get a collab set and then Set 5 later this year. Like, Hydra's not going to be... I think Hydra will... At it... The way it looks right now, Hydra will always be a fun and good deck. Like, competitively. But, you know, new stuff is just around the corner, and there's, I mean, this set just came out, and there's plenty of stuff within Set 4 that will have some legs, like the Valkyrie deck.
We're kind of getting into Andrew's next question, which is meta predictions for pre-grand opens, your thoughts on other decks besides Hydra. But I don't feel like we fully answered Brennan's question yet.
Sure.
But maybe let's talk about Andrew's question really quick, and then let's come back to Limitless.
Okay.
But Yeah, I definitely think Valkyries. I think there's some cool ant decks.
Yeah.
Um,
and Golem.
And Golem decks, yeah. So to be clear, Andrew's question was also meta predictions for the pre-grand opens and your thoughts on any other decks besides Hydra that we may see. So I definitely think we'll see all sorts of interesting stuff. I also think, you kind of showed this on our drunk stream or our Battle Shot stream. Fabled Beast has some interesting new tools, whatever it is I'm trying to say. Toils.
Hundun and the new Genbu with the old Genbu. I'm just saying, like, Fabled Beast balls to the wall. That deck works.
If you're drunk, it'll take you about 10 minutes to figure it out, though.
Yeah. That first game, man, though, when I was so clear, I was like, I have all the answers. And then I rewatched that, too, and I'm like, it's right there.
Yeah.
Genbu just turns off block for Mock Genbu, and Mock Genbu walks in with 2 symbols, Cam. Valid deck, valid strategy. Valkyrie in white. You got Star Dragons in red still, and even more so now. Like,
can you pull up Valkyrie really quick and read that? I'm trying to remember what that one does.
Yes, let me do that for you.
I know it does like unblockable
That's
stuff.
The starter. Yeah. So the new, where are they? Valkyrie Callista, 7 cost, 3 reduction, white, Ice Princess Spirit. At level 1 and 2, all of your spirits with Valkyrie in their card name gain armor red, white, and blue. And then during your attack step, this spirit and your spirits with the soul core on them cannot be blocked by spirits of the color specified in any armor effect they possess.
Oh, wow. So that spirit and whichever one you put. So 2 of your spirits, basically.
And then if you look at Mechalosis, Jotengrim, 1, 2, and 3, when one of your opponent's spirits is returned to their hand or deck, all of your Android and Ice Princess spirits, which are the ones with armor and the bouncing abilities, gain armor purple, white, yellow, green. So between just those 2 cards, like, you're throwing a lot of armor around, and they can bounce your opponent's stuff and really control the board, and then your opponent can't do a lot against that. And yeah, like, the Android and the Ice Princess traits are so powerful right now with this new set. Like, they're very much worth looking at.
I think you make a good point, is that it's not just that they're unblockable, it's that they also have armor, so they're unblockable and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, assuming that, you're not running a rainbow deck that can maybe find a way to get around it. We don't even have any colorless cards in Battle Spirits as of right now.
No.
So
that's an interesting idea, though.
Yeah, that would be an interesting way to get around armor if that ever becomes super prevalent, is like maybe a colorless removal or bounce or something.
Yeah.
But as of right now, we don't have anything like that. So if it has fully, all armor from all colors and unblockable, that thing is getting through.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything you can do about it. Other than like a card that does not select, like you could avalanche it or whatever. But pretty interesting. Yeah, so we've got Valkyries, we've got Fabled Beasts, we've got Hydra. Era seems to be pretty good. I mean, if you go back also on the Battle Shot stream, we saw Star Dragon's deck piloted by Skylights, that I think maybe he built for that just to be fun, to have some fun and play Star Dragons, but honestly, it was a really solid deck.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, there was a turn against me where I thought I was going to win, and then he played like 7 Star Dragons in one turn off of a Big Bang energy and just obliterated me.
Yeah.
So it's, I think that deck definitely has some legs. Star Dragons are a little trickier to figure out, but I think they're really good.
I like them. And yeah, like, you're getting good support for them outside of the Ascend mechanic too. Like, the Dustworm Drought Dragon is a new staple in red decks, I think. Just getting that reduction on your way to a Big Bang energy turn anyway, and having that removal is just really good. And yeah, like you said, the token decks honestly still look pretty powerful. Green is good. Green also has some new Swift stuff that is going to catch a lot of people off guard if you play it right.
Yeah, I haven't really seen a lot of people experimenting with that too much, but I really want to play around with it, the new Swift cards. But the Leaf Kindred build is definitely very interesting as well.
Yeah, especially even in those blue decks that we've seen, like, you know, like we saw Strider play the Bark
Yeah.
Maiden Lucerium, being able to ramp onto, you know, another copy of Lucerium, but also Seabed Lighthouse, the Underwater Volcano. Like, it's
he was playing Totem Pole in that deck too.
and
That
Totem Pole.
new green Nexus, yeah, which is just good for Ascend Spirits. Which, you know, if you're playing Hydra, that's an Ascend Spirit.
Yep, exactly.
Or I don't remember if it's Ascend or if it's double symbol. I can't remember which it specifies, but either way, it's got both. It's got both.
Yeah,
because Hydra has everything. Yeah. So I guess to answer Andrew's question, I think you will see a ton of Hydra, but I think you'll see pretty much every color represented.
I think we'll see. Here's my prediction: if it's like a top 16 break, right? My guess would be majority of those. Well, not majority. I'd say like 6 or 7 Hydra. 2 to 4 Era. A couple yellow Fabled Beast. A couple white control decks. And something really off meta, like in green or blue, maybe token, sitting in there too. And then that would be a really ideal and healthy kind of like first big showing for this new meta. But I do see it being possible. What do you think?
Well, we're also I just realized we're forgetting about purple, and I think a lot of people, I think purple has been off the radar for a minute because it just hasn't been super viable in a competitively in a while. And I think that if you continue to think that way, you're going to get wrecked by some purple deck that you're just not expecting. Yeah. And I think also Maduke is an interesting counter to Hydra. They're still going to mill you 8 cards, but then your Maduke sticks and then they lose a life.
Yeah, so Maduke got another wind with this set, specifically Hydra. Yeah. Maduke is always good. I think, she's going to come back around.
I think if you do some graveyard play out of purple, I think you'll see some interesting results. I think purple might actually be pretty well set up to counter the Hydra deck if you build it properly. And I think if you do expect to see a lot of Hydra and you go purple, I think you might do really well for 2 reasons. One, I think you do have some counterplay against the Hydra with like your reanimates and like bringing stuff back from the discard that has been milled. And also, I think that you'll just catch people off guard because I think it's been a minute since people have really like play tested with and against purple.
Yeah, I mean, I for one haven't played purple since Atlanta, and that was against Thomas, the winner of that event. And it was Maduke in a Serpent deck, you know? Like, I think that definitely still works. Shadows in set 4, too, I think there's gonna be some crazy shadow decks, and you're right. I think, everyone needs to remember that purple exists who might be forgetting. Like me.
All 6 colors, then, represented.
I think they could. I really think they could.
It's funny because Alex Blandon said that the other day in Cosmic's Discord. He was saying that he thinks that all of the colors are viable. And somebody said that he was trolling, but I think he said he wasn't, but who knows? I mean, he's a good player. Obviously. But yeah, I agree with him. I think all 6 colors are pretty viable right now.
Yep.
And it's cool to see. I think Hydra's definitely the big blue elephant in the room, but back to the question about bans/limited update. I think the main thing that I've been thinking about just ever since Andrew said it on our podcast a long time ago was like, why is Volcanic Break limited to 1 and Floodstream you're allowed to have 4 copies of it?
Right.
That was something that Andrew said a long time ago, and I've just kind of been thinking about it ever since because they kind of fulfill very similar roles.
Sure.
And I also, from a design standpoint, we've talked about this in the past, I don't like that Floodstream just wipes tokens.
I agree.
Not that I feel like we need tokens to be like the most viable thing ever or like the main thing that everybody's doing, but I would just love to see, like you said, like a token deck make it to top 16 or top 8 at one of these big events. Yeah. Especially with all the new token support that we're getting.
Yeah, like That's what really feels weird. It's almost like Floodstream would have made more sense as a set 4 card instead of a starter deck card with blue.
Yeah. Like Raging Tide in the starter deck, and then Floodstream in set 4.
It's almost like they anticipated ant tokens to be way crazier than they were in set 2 and 3. Because like, well, mostly set 2, because like really some better support started for ants are coming out in set 4 too, and that would make Floodstream make a little more sense. I don't know. It is weird that they just straight up go a combined total of 5 or fewer. So that means all your 0 cost get lumped into that. That's rough.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think? Do you want to see Floodstream down to 1, or do you want to see Volcanic Break up to 4?
I think Volcanic Break could sit back at 4.
Yeah.
For that exact reason. Like, there's other really... In the set 1 meta, even, like, I don't know. We talked about it when it happened. That felt extreme. Over Raptidon, I get. That card is really, really good. It just pushes aggro too much, and it really skews towards red in that really limited meta. Axe Spider made sense. Netherworld Depths.
The interesting thing about Depths,
I would bring that one back to 1.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that it's a good idea, but there's so many like counter plays around Depths now.
So many. Just like, blue in general. Even Hydra.
Hydra, Mandala, Millfrog.
Once Raid got introduced, like, and even Schottenjäger in set 3, who just stands himself up over and over again. Like, Netherworld Depths is really not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how that works out in practice. Like, but in my head, okay, if Depths is back, I might play Gale, and I might play Schottenjäger and attack infinitely. I might just play the blue deck and just mill you, and crush like every time I turn my stuff sideways, you draw a card and I crush you. So it's like perfect, you know.
Like honestly, it's like they took Depths out to not retroactively, but what's the other, to proactively help purple players not get milled. Like instead of
to help you make good deck building decisions.
Instead of nerfing purple, they buffed purple players. Every purple player's throwing Netherworld Depths in, and they're like, oh, you're not gonna want that card.
I think it's still a very powerful card. It would still see a ton of play if it came back, but I think that unless you're a super skilled player and you know how to appropriately use it, I think you might just get wrecked. Yeah. Like, honestly, if you're going to play Netherworld Depths, you probably need to play, Syntheria? Yeah. So that you can blow up one of your own Nexuses.
Yeah.
So, like, I think you'd have to do something like that, where you have like a ripcord you can pull to be like, okay, Depths time is over. I have my card advantage, but now I'm getting wrecked by mills, so I need to, like, get rid of this thing, otherwise I'm going to die.
Yeah. And we talked about that when that first ban in limited list, which that's the only one we've seen since. We talked when that came out, you know, that does start a slippery slope, because it's like, well, you take away Netherworld Depths, what then takes its place to be perceived as busted, and then what do you do about it? You know, a lot of people had some outcry about how good Phantasmal Paradise is in the yellow deck, but also yellow doesn't have crazy draw like purple does. But then that's the thing. It's like Ouroboros. It's the snake eating its tail. And it just gets messy.
You can't put Phantasmal Paradise in any deck, though. I think that's the one.
That's true. That's fair.
Like, yeah, because it has to be a Fabled Beast deck. Right. But it draws you just as many cards if you play it right.
I have a thought. What if they reprinted Netherworld Depths as a 6-2 reduction or 7-3 reduction? Do you think that is a big enough change?
Honestly, I think the card would still be very good and very playable if they just made it to where the effect only triggers like once per turn or something.
Yeah.
Like, that'd probably be the easiest way.
When one of your
But
spirits is, or draw a card, or once per turn at level 1 or level 2. Draw a card when one of your opponent's spirits is exhausted. Exhaust this nexus to exhaust this nexus to draw a card when one of your opponent's spirit is exhausted or something.
Oh, exhausting the nexus to do it would actually be pretty fantastic, because then it also shuts off its ability to be used for other janky stuff that, like using it to raid with Hydra and stuff like that as well. Yeah. So that would be a very interesting errata.
That mechanic just exists in the game already, right? Like, and it opens up the possibility of, like, the Blurple deck, which I talk about a lot, like, that I think exists. Because like Rammer Golem can see Netherworld Depths turn sideways, and Rammer Golem could trigger off of that. And then it's like not as egregious drawing, which purple already has so many other engines, and they they all perform.
So in summary, do we not really think there needs to be any updates to the ban/limited list?
I think if there is an update, it's to bring some of those cards back. I think you keep Axe Spider off, I guess. But like I would bring Netherworld Depths up to a limit, and I would remove the limit on Volcanic Break, I think.
All right.
But I don't know.
I would either put Floodstream to 1 just because I want to see token decks rise above.
Even 2.
Yeah, we don't have any semi-limited cards yet, so that'd be interesting to explore that space as well. I don't know about bringing anything back, but I mean, Volcanic Break, I don't really think if they bring it back to 4, like, are you really going to play 4 copies of Volcanic Break in your deck? Like,
right.
I think maybe you'd play. I think back when it wasn't limited, the most I ever really played was like 2 or 3.
Yeah. I never saw a full set of that, but I'm not a red player. But
maybe.
But still,
I don't know. I mean, 6K BP does hit a lot of stuff, but there's so much new removal in the game now that, like, you have so many options.
Like Hydra doesn't discriminate.
Hydra's just like, oh, it's a spirit, kill it.
And like we said, Hydra can be played turn 3. So, there's
next question from Andrew. Will Eric be moving to Indianapolis in the near future? No, I don't plan on it. No plans to do that, but I do keep having to go back there. I'm about to go back there for a second time for our buddy Chad's bachelor party. And then once again later in the year for Gen Con. So, you're getting dragged back to Indianapolis, but I don't have any plans to move there.
Yeah. It is the crossroads state, so it's not your fault that you keep going through Indiana.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
And I did my time.
You did your time in Indy jail.
Yeah.
Clamp God says, "What colors do each of you see yourselves playing in set 4?" Angel's not here, but I'll just answer for him. Purple. What are you gonna play, Cam?
Yellow and blue.
Yellow and blue.
Yep.
I think white and green. I think I'm gonna stick to my roots.
I love that. I'd love to see you go back to white. Yeah,
white was my first color I really loved. Green is like my main color, I think, but I want to let's make Stream Otter viable.
Yeah, make Stream Otter great again.
Yeah,
Masoga.
we need a white hat that says that on top.
Soga.
Soga. Actually, I'm gonna skip over the Overlord Ubel's question really quick to ask Travis's question because I think it plays into this perfectly.
Yes, Ubel, I will be starting an OnlyFans.
Travis says, "What's a card that you want to play but can't because it's just that bad? How could you fix it without breaking it to make it playable?" So there was some joke in the chat here that Stream Otter is the one I was gonna pick. I don't think I can pick that for this question because Stream Otter's not a bad card.
It's not a bad card.
Maybe it is a little bit. Honestly, if I could fix it, like let's just say Stream Otter is my card because I think that's the obvious choice for me. I think you bump Stream Otter up to 4K. Maybe like at level 2, I think he's 4K, and then he still goes to 7K when he blocks.
Yeah.
But I think his base BP is 4K. Because then I think it removes him from Burning Force range. He can still get hit by Ritual Fire, which is how he died in our most recent live stream. But
yeah,
I don't want to make him like super broken.
But a lot of other things are dying to Ritual Fire.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't make Stream Otter worse in that regard. Well, it kind of does. I don't know.
Or what if we just give him what if for one more core he also gets red armor?
That would be so cool.
That might be broken though.
I think that would be broken.
But I would love it. What about you? What's a card that is not like super playable that you would fix?
Empress Guardian Red Queen.
Oh yeah.
I love her. 6 cost, 3 reduction, yellow Otherlander Spirit. The X rare from set 3, right? Level 1, 2, and 3, when summoned, select one of your opponent's spirits, reduce its BP by 2,000. Level 2 and 3, during your main step, when one of your Otherlander spirits is summoned, you may exhaust one of your Topaz Sanctuary Nexuses to activate one of the spirits when summoned effects a second time. It's like, it's so many steps to remove one thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just because, like, typically what you're doing with that would be more reduction or maybe searching for a card. Like, you know, maybe you're triggering King Charles again to flip. And, like, it's all very... It's just... I think it's too big brain for yellow. Like, I wish that second ability was, like... At level, let's change it to level 3 during your main step. When one of your Otherlander spirits is summoned, trigger its when summoned ability a second time or something.
Yeah,
that would be pretty good.
Or if you want to keep the Topaz Sanctuary bit in there because it was kind of like the theme of the set was these sanctuaries, right? Like just have it say during your main step, you may exhaust one of your Topaz Sanctuary Nexuses to trigger the when summoned effect of one of your Otherlander spirits.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, even that would be good. And because like that's instant satisfaction if you have Topaz and you bring her in, because she gets a when summoned and then you can tap your Topaz to do that at least again. That's 4,000. That's not nothing. It's just, it just feels like there's too many steps to make her go off. And that was really disappointing because I think the art is super cool, and it was the second Otherlander X-Ray that we've seen, and it just really fell flat.
Cam just wants to be able to say, "Go off, Queen."
Yes. Well, I wanted a buddy for Alice to do the same thing, you know, but
yeah,
I didn't get that buddy.
We did get to see some new Alice art that they posted on Valentine's Day, and I really hope that that's a new card that we're getting at some point.
Me too. Me too.
So you're picking the Queen. I'm picking Stream Otter. I don't know what Angel would pick. I can't really answer for him.
Yeah.
Probably a purple card. Honestly, maybe that new purple card that we were talking about that does basically nothing in the new set. I don't remember what it was called, but
yeah,
it's like a purple magic. But I'll move on to Overlord Ubel's question here.
Yes.
Now that you've opened packs and had the cards in hand, has it given you any ideas or changes your thoughts on some things? So you haven't actually had any cards in your hands yet. As for me, I got to take a look at the Evangelion cards, and man, they're pretty. I think I want them all.
Yeah. I think that was a good move to just really incentivize buying product initially and on the secondary market, right? Like there's a much bigger collectability to this set than the previous ones.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Like I'm very excited to open my boxes.
Yeah, dude, opening these boxes feels good because it's like you get a hit in like almost every pack.
Yeah.
But it's like cool. It's not every single pack. So it's like you still sometimes you're like, yeah. So like you need a little bit of that when you're pack opening, right? Like you need a little bit of disappointment so that when you
too easy.
Yeah, yeah. But when you do get that hit though, it's like, oh man, like it's like, oh, I got a shitty rare. I didn't really want this one, but I did get Detective Pentan as a Evangelion alt art card, and that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, there. Honestly, it hasn't really changed my thoughts too much on the set, other than I didn't think I'd be as interested in the Evangelion cards as I am, and I really like them. They're beautiful.
They are. They really.
I just
really
love
are.
full art cards.
Yeah, what a concept. And I think we're gonna get a lot of that in set 5 because they've talked about the I forget what position exactly, but like some of the art direction from Digimon is coming over into Battle Spirits, and those full art cards on there are awesome. And Bandai knows what they're doing. And to have that on like this really good cardboard, like they're just little pieces of art. Like it's so fun to collect.
Yeah. Actually, I skipped a question that Andrew asked, but we're kind of talking about it right now. He said, thoughts on the Ava cards and if you think it will help bring players into the game. I absolutely think so. Like you just made a great point about collectors.
Yep.
Like I think we'll have people come into this game who love Evangelion. Like one of my best friends growing up, Bradley, huge Evangelion fan. If he finds out about this, like he'll definitely buy some cards.
Yeah.
And he'll probably have no interest in the game other than collecting the Evangelion cards. But then when the full Evangelion collab set comes out and he can build a full Ava deck, he might go for it.
Yeah.
Like he might go to a tournament. Like he might go to especially if there's like limited edition Ava cards that you can only get by participating in these events or something. Like he might go and try and win those because he loves the show that much.
I think it's smart too because we live in the Fortnite era, right? Where like and Marvel, like it's like all these different things coming together and they're like playable together, and it's just like that at first is always like, whoa, that's really really weird, but like they're getting more practical applications in card games specifically. I mean, look at Secret Lair and Magic the Gathering, right? Like people were going crazy over the Lord of the Rings stuff. And non-Magic players because they liked Lord of the Rings. And also non-Magic players because there was the One Ring and, everything's doing that. But like, even when Pokemon did the 151 set recently, people that haven't looked at the game since they were 6 were buying those cards.
The last Pokemon pack I ever opened before 151 was probably a jungle pack.
Yeah. Right? Like it works. Yeah. And even in this game.
But it pulled me back in.
Yeah, it does. And I know that's not a collab, but like even this game, one of the selling points from me to Eric was, and I guess in set 2, they're going to do Gundam collab. And you were like, I'm in. Like but the difference between all of that though is that like these Evangelion cards are going to be like standard legal, where like the Secret Lair Magic cards are more casual. So I just I think it's just smart. The other day this came into my head. Obviously, I don't have any news. This is not me trying to start a rumor. I'm just saying there is a world that exists where we could have Elden Ring Battle Spirits cards. Because that's Bandai Namco.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? It'd be fucking awesome.
Well, don't they also own, like, Pac-Man?
Oh, yeah. And, like, Naruto.
Let me look at a list of, like, what games...
The IP well is deep, is all I'm saying.
Because, like, there's so many things they could do. Tekken? That would be cool. Dark Souls? Soul Calibur. Oh, shit.
Oh, Soul Calibur would be really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got so many great IPs. I don't... I was just laughing at... Galaxian, that'd be a funny but yeah, I mean they have Digimon and Dragon Ball and stuff like that too. Like I wonder if we'll see some weird crossover between like the actual Bandai games as well.
Yeah, you never know. Like that's another fun thing about them owning this IP, and they're building up to I think some just really cool collaborations and releases. Because, like, the Gundam one wasn't even huge over here in Battle Spirit Saga, right? Like, Battle Spirits, there was a bunch, and we've talked about that. But, like, that did get a lot of people's attention. Like, I was sitting in Gen Con at the Keyforge tournament, and One Piece was on the other side of the room. So, like, up on the big screens, there are Bandai advertisements. And so like every time the Set 2 commercial would come on, and then, you know, like they're showing like all the dragons and like all the stuff from the original IP, people are looking. And then all of a sudden a Gundam comes on, like Barbados is there, and fucking Wing Gundam or Unicorn Gundam. People are like, I don't even know what that game is, but that looks cool as shit. And that's like two different problems. But yeah,
I don't know what that game is, but I'm a 25 to 34-year-old man in the United States, so I definitely watched Toonami when I was a little kid, and this is appealing to me right now.
Yeah. So I think I'm on board for it. It definitely got me to start watching Evangelion. I think once I open my packs tomorrow, I'll definitely be in that mindset of like finishing it. But yeah, I mean, the more the merrier. Just make some more collabs, get more people interested, because I just think the game is so strong that any way that you can get people into it, I think they'll check it out.
It's a great segue into Type's question, I think. This is the last question. If we find Union Arena on the shelves of Walmart this fall, will you guys join me with seizing of Bandai's headquarters? Man, that's a Cam level joke right there.
That is. That's
good. He's joking. But then he says, but seriously, that would be all of Bandai's TCGs except for BSS. What would your reaction to that be? And do you think it's a bad or a good thing for the game to be sold in big box stores? I think it's exactly what you just said, Cam. Like, the more ways you can get Battle Spirits in front of people, just the more, like, let me put it this way. When I was in high school, my friends and I went to Walmart and bought Magic cards all the time. One night we were there, and we would get bored with Magic, and we would just be like, what else is here? And we'd be like, oh, okay. You know what? Let's get these Yu-Gi-Oh starter decks. Let's see what Yu-Gi-Oh is like nowadays. Pick these up. One time we bought My Little Pony trading card game starter decks because it was just like, we were being goofy. It was late at night. We were like, screw it. Let's like drink energy drinks and stay up all night and play the shit out of this My Little Pony card game. Did I ever purchase any more product for that game ever again? No. But did I have fun with it? Yeah. I had a great time. And it's like, I think now that, especially with Bandai having these really strong IPs, someone might go to Walmart and they might see the One Piece card game and pick it up and then play it and have an amazing time. And then maybe the next time they go, they might pick up the Dragon Ball card game. And then maybe the next time they're looking for something new and it's like, hey, this game, I've never heard of Battle Spirits, but it's made by the same people who make this One Piece game and make this Dragon Ball game. And I really liked both of those. Like, let me just try this, because I don't think you want to discount the amount of people that just purchase starter decks and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, they just play kitchen table card games with starter decks. And also, if you advertise that there's little plastic gems inside of the starter decks, I think people will go nuts.
Yeah.
But
to piggyback off of that, if I was in Target looking for Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Dragon Ball cards, and I saw the Battle Spirit structure decks hanging there, you bet your ass I'd buy one of each. I'd take those home. And if I didn't like the game beyond playing the structure decks, that's fine. I have a bunch of structure decks from a bunch of games that I didn't keep going into, but like, those are some of my favorite memories of like just learning a new game with your friend across the table for a total investment of like $15. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Union Arena in Walmart or Target. I think it would be good to see that, because then it might push for Battle Spirits to get there too, and just have that brand association, I think, would go a long way. Like, that is kind of your ideal thing, right? Especially in a world where like, and I will preach this the most, if you have a friendly local game store and if you have a relationship with the store owner or a way to order product, I would encourage you to do that. However, there are a lot of places that don't have friendly local game stores, or they're way too far away. But what's in every fucking town in America? Walmart. And if that's your entryway into hobby gaming, that's fine. If that's really the only resource and you can get something at MSRP and that product is available to a wider group of people, I think that's only a plus.
Yeah. Well, I'm also thinking about when I would get card games as a kid, like there was a local game store, but when I was like, 6 or 7 years old, like I didn't really go in there super often. Sometimes I would convince my dad to drive me over there to like play in a tournament,
right?
But it was mostly like I'd go with my mom to Walmart or Target while she's buying other stuff, and then I'd beg her to buy me like whatever booster pack or whatever, and that's how I got my cards.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, wasn't I such a good kid in Walmart? Don't I deserve this Metal Raiders Yu-Gi-Oh booster pack?
I need the Metal Morph trap card to turn my Red Eyes Black Dragon into Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon.
Yeah, and then I'm going to open it, and I'm just going to have Saggy the Dark Clown as my rare or whatever instead. So. Yeah. But, I think... I don't think that Union Arena, if it makes its way to Walmart, is bad for Battle Spirits. Like I think it's actually any Bandai games that make it there is net positive for the Bandai like card game universe in general.
Yeah.
But to Type's point though, Battle Spirits has been around.
It should be there already.
It hasn't been around a long time, but it's been there longer than some of the games that are there right now.
And they put so much support into it in other avenues, and then just completely not in others. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of more like, I don't know, like brand recognition and IP and stuff like that probably has something to do with it. Like, the original owners of the IP for Dragon Ball have more money to put Dragon Ball in Walmart. I don't know how it works.
Like to get consumer brand recognition, I do think you need people to repeatedly see it. And I think that right now it's too niche.
It is.
Like, it's like if you go to a game, even if you go to a game store, they may not have it.
Right.
So it's like, but if you went to Walmart and you saw it all the time and it was just always in your face, you may not buy it the first time you see it. You may not buy it the second time. You may not even buy it the 30th time you see it. But that 31st time, you're like, you know what? They keep putting these Battle Spirit cards out here. I don't know what it is, but there's dragons on the boxes.
Right.
And it looks cool, and I kind of want to play something else. So
the psychology of a structure deck art box, like matching the, the big card in the set, like Battle Spirits does it. That tickles some part of my brain every single time, and it doesn't matter what the game is. But just seeing a structure deck hanging there in a Walmart that I can just go self-check out and take that home with no hassle that goes so much farther than people realize.
There we go. Yep. I remember when we were at Bulldog. You were like, I'm going to buy this Slifer the Sky Dragon starter deck.
And Obelisk. I wanted them both so bad.
Yeah. But then I bought the Speed Duels and we had fun with that instead.
Right. And those look cool because it's like Battle City, recreate Battle City. And we're like, yeah. So,
But that's all of our questions today. If you have any questions for us or have anything you want us to talk about, go ahead and join our Discord, link down in the description, and go to our listener questions channel, put them in there. Brennan was also, I did want to give a shout out to him. He shared in that channel. We didn't really get a chance to talk to about it, but there's all the new like rulings on like how cards and set 4 work. So he gave us all of those in there from the head judge himself, from Roman. So if you want to go check those out, those are in our Discord in the listener questions channel. Thanks, Brendan, for putting that in there.
Yeah, and thanks for your other question, Brendan, and for everybody who submitted questions. We always really, I know we say that every time, but like we really do appreciate it. It's very cool to just be able to pop in, and like this was like even like yesterday or 2 days ago, I think Eric put that in there, but like immediately y'all are like coming at us with questions, and that's just super fun. That's really
mostly are veiled attempts by Andrew to get me to move to Indiana. I mean, honestly, dude, Bulldog Community Gaming would be
Oh my
if
gosh.
I moved to Indiana, just being able to go to Bulldog would be one of the main reasons I did it.
I think about Bulldog every time I'm like considering the fact that I'll have to be going through Indiana. I'm always now like going, could I stop at Bulldog? Like, how far out of the way would this be? Like, I really want to go back and see Scott and buy some more stuff.
Get a bagel.
Yeah, get a freaking bagel.
You can curse. It's our show.
I know. Sometimes I get a little self-conscious about it.
You're just excited about bagels.
Yeah, I told everyone to shut the fuck up probably 56 times in the drunk stream.
Yeah.
I love it when everyone talks. I was trying to silence the demons, not you guys. Where were we going? But yeah, Bulldog Community Gaming, Brownsburg, fucking rules. Go see it.
Yeah. If you are passing through Indiana, try to see if you can stop at Bulldog Community Gaming on your way through. You will not be disappointed. Scott, great guy, and also maybe you can stop by for like a community night or something. They do any game you want to play. They have something going on in their Discord for those. So
that's something I don't think I mentioned on the podcast, but really would like to, if you don't mind, Eric. When we were done with the Indianapolis tourney that we streamed, that the Brick Brothers and Bulldog put on, like, as everyone left, like clockwork, it was great. It like timed out perfectly. Scott did such a good job at organizing everything. But like when the Battle Spirits players left and the Digimon players came in, it was just a whole new, like, it was the same kind of energy though. Like everyone was just there to play and hang out. Like there were these kids there that wanted to learn the game or like didn't have a deck on them or something. And one of the locals and regulars was like, "What Digimon do you like?" And they would answer. And he's like, "Okay, cool. I got a deck like that. I got this deck with that Digimon." And then was actually explaining how to play the deck before the event started. And it's just like that kind of community is so cool. So just shout out to not just the Battle Spirits community and scene at Bulldog, but just like anything, because that's just the kind of place that it is. Like it just fosters all of those different communities. Scott's the coolest dude ever. And you're going to have a good time when you stop by.
Yeah, it's definitely the community gaming part of their name is so true. It's so funny you mentioned the person who was explaining those Digimon decks. I actually ran into him. I wish I could remember his name. I'm really sorry. I can't remember at the moment, but I ran into him at Worlds.
Cool.
At Bandai Card Fest. He was staying in the same hotel. I ran into him in the elevator. He immediately started talking to me. He was like, "What game are you here for? Like, what are you playing?" And then we talked about stuff. And it was just so funny because I remember thinking like, "Wow, what a nice guy. Like he's super cool."
Yeah.
And then I run into him at Bulldog Community Gaming and it's like, "Oh, that's why, because he's a member of this community."
Yeah.
Because these people are all awesome.
It's so special. So
yeah. Great store, awesome community, and really glad we were able to be a part of it in our own little way. Maybe Andrew will someday convince me to move up there. I don't know, but
yeah. Well,
all right. I think that'll pretty much do it for us today.
Yeah. Thanks all for listening. Yeah, we should be back on a more regular schedule again now that Set 4 is coming out. If we don't do podcasts, we should definitely be doing some playtesting and some more live fun stuff. Again, March 23rd, the Battle Spirits Saga Tensei Community Discord tournament. You can find that information in our Discord, but obviously in their Discord. Make sure you join and have a good time playing. It'll be webcam. Best of 1 rounds, 35 minutes. Looks like 6 rounds of Swiss and some really fun prizes. And just another fun way to test out Set 4 and play with your fellow Battle Spirits players.
And you can hang out with a couple goofy dudes streaming it.
Yeah, we'll be streaming it. So that's March 23rd, noon Eastern. So our coverage will be going up at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern. Yeah, it'll be a fun time. So if you're not going to compete, at least come hang out and watch it's just been really, really fun. So all that good stuff. Thank you to Eric once again for setting up our weekly episode and getting everything done. And you have anything else you want to say?
That's it.
All right.
I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. Bye.
See ya.